I have always believed that life should be easy. No unnecessary stress, no overexertion, and definitely no dramatic nonsense. Unfortunately, my adoptive family seems to have taken this as a personal challenge to make my life as difficult as humanly possible. Take tonight, for example. The full moon ball, the event where omegas and alphas meet their fated partners, is happening right now in the city's grandest ballroom. Every eligible omega is supposed to be there, fluttering around like desperate butterflies, hoping to be claimed by a rich and powerful alpha. Meanwhile, I am currently scrubbing the floor of my family's dining room, covered in dish soap and self-loathing. Why? Because my dear, loving adoptive family has once again found an excuse to keep me locked inside the house instead of letting me attend the most important event of the year. You, my stepbrother, Caleb, had sneered at me just hours ago, leaning against the kitchen counter like he was some kind of royalty. You want to go to the full moon ball? With what clothes? With what money? Face it, Noah. You'd look so pathetic that no alpha would even glance your way. I had smiled at him sweetly. Then maybe you should go instead. The pathetic part suits you perfectly. That's how I ended up with extra chores as punishment. Now, as I wring out a wet rag and glare at the clock, an idea forms in my brilliant, slightly unhinged mind. If my kind, generous adoptive family won't let me leave the house, then I'll just have to make them leave instead. Dramatic? Yes. Stupid? Also yes. But it's the best plan I have. I drop the wet rag and dramatically fling myself onto the floor, arms sprawled out, mouth slightly open. I even flutter my eyelashes weakly for extra effect. The goal? To look like a tragic, dying omega, prompting my family to panic and run for help, leaving me free to escape to the ball. Unfortunately, my acting skills are criminally underappreciated in this household. Get up, Noah, my stepmother sighs from the kitchen. We're not falling for your nonsense again. Obviously, I can't summon an actual ghost. But I can pretend that I see one. With a sharp gasp, I clutch my chest and widen my eyes. Oh my God, I whisper, staring at the corner of the room. There's someone standing there. No one reacts at first. I shudder violently, cranking up the drama. It's an omega spirit. He's staring at you, Caleb. His eyes, they're so empty. He's whispering something. Oh no, he's pointing at you. He's cursing you. Caleb scoffs but visibly shifts away from the corner. My stepmother frowns, suddenly looking uncomfortable. I press forward. He says if you don't leave this house immediately, something terrible will happen. There's a beat of silence before my stepfather, ever the skeptic, mutters, Noah, we all know you're a pathological liar. Damn it. Since faking death and summoning ghosts both failed spectacularly, I am left with one final plan. I take a deep breath, straighten my posture, and look my family dead in the eyes. I am going to the full moon ball, I declare, filled with dramatic determination. My stepmother laughs. Caleb snorts. My stepfather actually chokes on his drink. No, you're not, Caleb says, shaking his head. I am, I insist. And none of you can stop me. Wanna bet? My stepmother smirks. Because we already locked all the doors and windows. What? I rush to the front door. Sure enough, locked. The windows? Locked. The back door? Locked. I whirl around in horror. You trapped me in here? For your own good, my stepfather says. You'd only embarrass yourself. Embarrass myself? Oh, they haven't seen true embarrassment yet. Which is exactly why, at that moment, a loud, strange bang shakes the entire house. A glowing, swirling vortex of sparkles and disaster appears right in the middle of the living room. And out of it steps a person, or something vaguely resembling a person. They're dressed in a shimmering, oversized robe, looking both ancient and incredibly eccentric, like someone who just lost a bet with a wizard. Their long silver hair floats behind them, and their eyes twinkle with chaotic energy. I blink. What? The figure grins widely, throwing their arms out dramatically. I am your fairy god. Something. My family stares in horrified silence. You are? I ask cautiously. My name doesn't matter, they announce. What matters is you have been chosen. And you, dear Omega, are going to that damn ball. I frown. Okay, but who are you really? Because you look like someone who got banned from every magic school in the country. The robed person winks. Exactly. Oh, this is going to be a disaster. When people imagine the grand entrance of an omega at the full moon ball, they probably think of a graceful figure descending a marble staircase, bathed in moonlight, with violins playing in the background. Instead, my entrance looks something like this. The doors to the ballroom swing open, and I stumble inside, tripping over the absurdly long cape that the fairy godperson insisted I wear. As I straighten up, I catch a glimpse of myself in a nearby mirror. Okay, I'll admit it. I looked good. Like, dangerously good. The kind of good that makes you want to keep checking your reflection to ensure it's still you. The suit fits me perfectly, dark and sleek, with subtle embroidery that shimmers under the ballroom light. My hair, usually an uncontrollable mess, now falls into soft, elegant waves. And the cape, well, it's dramatic, but I can work with dramatic. But what really gets me is the scent. The fairy godperson had doused me with some mysterious cologne that enhanced my pheromones to an almost weaponized level. I can see heads turning as I make my way through the crowd, omegas sniffing the air and alphas shifting uncomfortably. It's intoxicating, but not as much as the smell of the buffet I spot at the far end of the ballroom. Go, my omega child, the fairy godperson whispers, somehow still hovering behind me. Seize your destiny? Yeah, I'm seizing a crab puff first, I mutter, making a beeline for the food. While other omegas are fluttering their eyelashes and trying to catch the attention of rich, brooding alphas, I beeline straight for the food. The spread is glorious. Fresh seafood, decadent pastries, and a chocolate fountain that looks like it was crafted by the gods themselves. My plan is simple. Stuff my face. Avoid any and all interactions. Disappear before midnight like some kind of socially awkward ninja. It's going perfectly until I reach for a plate of mini quiches and feel a hot, sticky substance drip onto my hand. I look down. Red. Spicy. Hot sauce. And it's all over the sleeve of my very expensive, borrowed suit. Wonderful, I mutter, reaching for a napkin. Then, I hear a low, dangerous voice right behind me. You've ruined my jacket. I turn slowly, napkin in hand, ready to apologize or flee, whichever feels safer. Standing in front of me is an alpha whose very presence demands attention. His black hair is swept back, revealing sharp, aristocratic features and piercing green eyes that look like they can see right through every lie I've ever told. Great. Just great. You, he says, eyes narrowing, are you going to apologize? I raise an eyebrow. For what? Existing near your food? His lips twitch, almost forming a smile but not quite. For spilling hot sauce on a jacket that costs more than your entire existence. I glance at the small red stain on his otherwise immaculate white jacket. Well, maybe you should reconsider standing near the buffet if you're so worried about your precious clothing. Silence stretches between us, thick and heavy. Other guests are starting to notice, their whispers tickling the edges of my hearing. Then, to my utter disbelief, the alpha chuckles, a deep, rich sound that should be illegal. You're interesting, he says, almost as if he's surprised by the realization. And you're in my way, I reply, sidestepping him to reach for another plate. Unfortunately, the universe seems to have a vendetta against me tonight. In my haste to avoid further confrontation, my heel catches on the hem of my cape, and I stumble forward, my hands landing right on the alpha's chest. We're suddenly very close, close enough for me to notice the light stubble on his jaw and the intense way his eyes study my face. What's your name? He asks softly, his tone no longer hostile but curious. Noah, I respond, barely holding back the instinct to flee. He rolls my name over his tongue like it's something worth savoring. I'm Adam. I swallow, suddenly hyper-aware of how his hands are now resting on my hips, steadying me. So, Adam, do you always manhandle strangers at parties, or is this a special occasion? His mouth quirks into that almost smile again. Only the ones who ruin my clothes and then refuse to apologize. Our awkwardly intimate moment is shattered when someone bumps into us, jostling me into Adam even more. I reflexively tighten my grip on his jacket, my pheromones probably working overtime, because now everyone is staring. Adam's eyes darken slightly, his fingers pressing into my waist. You're quite the troublemaker, aren't you? I prefer the term reluctant participant, I mutter, cheeks burning. He leans in, his breath warm against my ear. Well, reluctant participant, would you like to dance? Every instinct screams at me to say no, to find an excuse, to run away. but his voice is magnetic, and my rebellious side wants to see just how far I can push this mysterious alpha prince. I guess one dance wouldn't kill me, I reply, trying to sound nonchalant. The smirk that spreads across his face is equal parts thrilling and terrifying. As Adam leads me onto the dance floor, I catch a glimpse of my reflection again. I still look amazing, but there's a new light in my eyes, a mixture of curiosity and mischief. Whatever this night has in store for me, I have a feeling it's going to be more than I bargained for. I wake up to the worst headache of my life. It feels like a miniature construction crew is jackhammering away inside my skull, and my mouth is so dry that I might as well have swallowed an entire desert. Groaning, I roll over in bed, only to realize this isn't my bed. Panic spikes through me as I sit up abruptly. My head protests violently, but I ignore it in favor of assessing my surroundings. The room is massive with sleek, expensive furniture and a view of the city skyline through floor-to-ceiling windows. The sheets beneath me feel absurdly soft, and everything smells faintly of expensive cologne and trouble. Where the hell am I? I mutter, rubbing my temples. A voice answers from across the room. So you're finally awake. I whip around so fast I nearly fall off the bed. Standing near the doorway, dressed like he just stepped out of a billionaire's fashion catalog, is Adam. Memories from the night before slam into me. The full moon ball. The buffet disaster. Adam and I dancing far too close. The air, thick with pheromones, making everything strangely intense. And then, nothing. A complete blank. Oh, this is bad. I clear my throat, trying to sound casual even though I am very much not calm. So, I assume there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for why I'm in your bedroom. Adam crosses his arms, watching me like he's deciding whether or not I deserve the truth. Then, he walks closer, stopping at the foot of the bed. You don't remember, do you? I force out a laugh. Pfft, of course I remember. We danced, it got a little dramatic, and then, I pause. Actually, I'd love to hear your version of events. He raises an eyebrow. You're telling me that you have no idea what happened last night? I hesitate. Not no idea, exactly. More like minimal, selective recall. Adam exhales sharply, like he can't believe he's dealing with this right now. No. You proposed to me. I blink. Then I blink again. Then I laugh, because there is absolutely no way that's true. Right? I say, still chuckling. Good one. Now tell me what actually happened. Adam does not laugh. He just stares at me, completely serious. I stop laughing. Wait, you're not joking. His expression remains deadpan. No, I am not joking. I stare at him, my brain short-circuiting. I proposed to you. He nods. I point at myself. Me. Another nod. I look around the ridiculously luxurious room. To you? Adam rolls his eyes. Yes. My soul leaves my body. There has to be a mistake. A glitch in the universe. I mean, sure, I do a lot of questionable things, but proposing to an elite, terrifyingly powerful alpha like Adam? In what world would that ever happen? I feel like I would remember something like that, I say weakly. Adam tilts his head. Oh, you don't just feel like you should remember. You really should. Especially since you made quite the scene. I bury my face in my hands. Tell me I didn't do it on a stage. You did it on a stage, Adam confirms. Oh no. In front of everyone. Oh no. You grabbed a microphone, pointed at me, and said, and I quote, if no one else wants to marry this insufferable, rich, and ridiculously good-looking alpha, then I guess I'll do it. I scream into my hands. Adam watches me with amusement, leaning against the edge of the bed. Honestly, it was the most entertaining part of the evening. I peek at him between my fingers. Please tell me you turned me down. He smirks. I didn't. I freeze. What? Adam shrugs. I accepted. The world tilts. I jump out of bed so fast I nearly trip on the sheets. You accepted? Are you insane? Possibly, Adam says unfazed. But I saw an opportunity and I took it. I press my hands against my forehead, trying to absorb this nightmare. Okay, hold on. Let's backtrack. I was obviously not in my right mind when I said that. You, however, were completely sober and you still said yes? Why? Adam studies me, his gaze sharp and calculating. Because it benefits me. I narrow my eyes. How? He sits down in the chair across from me, entirely too calm. My family has been pressuring me to settle down. They want me to find a suitable Omega and solidify my position as the heir. You, my dear Omega, just handed me the perfect excuse. I gasp. You're using me as a human shield? Adam smirks. Exactly. Oh, this is unacceptable. I fold my arms. Well, too bad, because I am not actually marrying you. Adam raises an eyebrow. Who said anything about marriage? We just need to pretend to be engaged for a little while. Then, once the pressure dies down, we can break up and go our separate ways. Simple. I narrow my eyes. You make it sound easy. It is easy, he replies. Unless you'd rather explain to the entire city why you publicly proposed to me and then changed your mind overnight? I open my mouth to argue, and then immediately shut it because, yeah, that would be bad. Like, career-ending, reputation-destroying, people will talk about this for years level of bad. I groan. So my options are: 1. Fake being engaged to you and live a life of luxury while enduring your unbearable presence, or 2. Face public humiliation on a level I may never recover from? Adam smiles. Exactly. I flop back onto the bed, staring at the ceiling. I hate everything. I'll take that as a yes, Adam says, standing up. You should get dressed. We have a press event in an hour. I shoot upright. A what? A press event, he repeats. To officially announce our engagement. I scream internally. This was supposed to be a quiet, low-stakes evening where I ate free food and went home. Instead, I somehow ended up fake engaged to the most powerful alpha in the city. And now? Now, I have 1 hour to prepare for the biggest lie of my life. If someone had told me yesterday that I would wake up fake engaged to the most powerful alpha in the city, I would have laughed in their face and gone back to sleep. But here I am, sitting in the back of a ridiculously expensive car, on my way to a press event, where I will have to smile, hold hands, and act like I'm madly in love with Adam. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I steal a glance at Adam, who is sitting beside me with his usual unbothered billionaire energy. He looks perfectly composed, dressed in an impeccably tailored suit, scrolling through his phone like he isn't about to publicly declare fake love for a complete disaster of an Omega. Meanwhile, I am internally combusting. Why do we have to do this today? I grumble, shifting uncomfortably in my own, admittedly stunning, designer outfit that Adam's assistant threw at me an hour ago. Can't we at least wait until I emotionally recover from my life imploding? Adam doesn't look up. If we don't act fast, people will start doubting the engagement. A delayed announcement will make them suspicious. I scowl. Oh no. How terrible. What if they find out the truth and realize that we're a couple of lying frauds? Adam finally looks at me, unamused. They won't if you just follow my lead. I squint at him. You keep saying that, but you haven't actually told me how I'm supposed to act. Do I call you darling? Do we have a tragic backstory? Am I supposed to pretend I find you remotely attractive? Adam's lips twitch like he's fighting a smirk. It shouldn't be that hard. Just be yourself. I snort. Right. Because my natural state is definitely polished and elegant Omega fiancé material. Adam shrugs. It worked last night. I freeze. Wait, what does that mean? Before I can interrogate him, the car slows down and the driver announces our arrival. I glance out the window and immediately regret everything. A massive crowd of reporters and photographers is swarming the entrance to the event hall. Cameras flash, people shout, and I feel my soul trying to leave my body. Adam calmly opens his door and steps out like this is just another Tuesday. Then, he turns back, offering his hand to me. I stare at it like it's a trap. He arches an eyebrow. Are you going to make me look like a fool by leaving my fiancé stranded in the car? Reluctantly, I place my hand in his, letting him pull me out. The moment I step into the light, the crowd goes feral. Adam. Over here. How long have you two been together? Noah, is it true you proposed first? Did you fall for each other at first sight? Oh no. I freeze, panic rising in my throat. My brain is completely empty. I have no idea how to do this. Adam, of course, does not panic. Instead, he casually pulls me closer, his arm sliding around my waist like it's the most natural thing in the world. His voice is calm and smooth as he speaks to the press. Noah and I have been keeping our relationship private for a while, but last night, we decided there was no reason to hide anymore. What? That's right, he continues, lying so effortlessly that I almost believe him. He proposed in the middle of the ballroom, and I couldn't say no. I choke. But Adam just turns to me, smiling like a perfect fiancé. Right, love? Oh, this manipulative. I force a smile, though it probably looks more like a grimace. All right. It was very spontaneous. A reporter shoves a mic in my face. What made you decide to propose, Noah? I panic internally. What do I say? Love? Fate? Temporary insanity? I glance at Adam, whose expression is completely unreadable, but I catch the slightest hint of amusement in his eyes. Oh, this smug bastard thinks I can't handle this. Fine. Watch me. I straighten up, turn to the reporters, and channel my inner drama queen. Well, I say, sighing dreamily. I took one look at Adam, and I just knew. My heart spoke, and I listened. He's so handsome and intelligent. And when I saw how lonely he looked in that ballroom, I thought, someone has to save this poor, tragic man. The press eats it up. Cameras flash, reporters scribble down notes, and I swear I hear someone say, "How romantic." Adam, meanwhile, squeezes my waist slightly, a silent warning. I grin up at him, enjoying this way too much. A reporter calls out, and Adam, "What do you love most about Noah?" Oh, I am so ready for this. Let's see how he handles being put on the spot. I turn to him, fully expecting to watch him squirm. Instead, Adam looks down at me, eyes dark and unnervingly serious. The way he makes things interesting, he says simply. For some reason, the way he says it sends a strange shiver down my spine. Another reporter asks, "And the wedding? When is it?" I stiffen. Oh crap. I didn't think that far. But Adam, as always, is prepared. "We're still finalizing the details," he answers smoothly. "But rest assured, it will be an event to remember." That vague, yet confident answer seems to satisfy the reporters. They fire a few more questions before Adam guides me away, leading me into the building. As soon as we're safely inside, I pull away, glaring at him. "You are dangerous?" Adam smirks. "You held your own." "I didn't hold my own. I thrived." He chuckles. "And yet, you're still complaining." I huff. "I just don't like being outmaneuvered." Adam tilts his head slightly, studying me in that way that makes me feel like he can see things I don't even understand yet. "You'll get used to it," he says. I narrow my eyes. Don't count on it. But deep down, I have a sinking feeling that Adam isn't the only one who makes things interesting. And that, somehow, this fake engagement is going to get a lot more complicated than either of us expected. Moving into Adam's ridiculously massive mansion is an experience I am wholly unprepared for. For one, the place is absurdly big. The kind of place where you could lose a small village inside and never find them again. The entrance hall alone looks like something out of a royal palace, with a grand staircase, marble floors, and a chandelier so massive that I'm pretty sure it could crush me to death if it fell. For another, the staff are terrifyingly efficient. The moment I step inside, 3 people magically appear to take my bags, another offers me tea, and a fourth materializes just to let me know that my wardrobe has already been appropriately updated to match my new status as Adam's fiancé. Which reminder is fake. Adam walks in beside me, completely at ease, as if this is all perfectly normal. "Try not to get lost," he says, removing his coat. "It happens more often than you'd think." I turn to him, arms crossed. "So, what's the actual plan here? Are we just going to awkwardly coexist until your family buys this fake engagement, or is there some kind of horrifying schedule I should be prepared for?" Adam raises an eyebrow. "I wasn't aware that coexisting with me would be horrifying." I snort. "Oh, trust me. I plan to make it as painful as possible." His lips twitch slightly, but before he can respond, a new voice interrupts us. Well. So it's true." I turn toward the staircase and immediately get bad vibes from the person descending. Tall, gorgeous in a suspiciously villainous way, and wearing the kind of smug expression that makes me want to trip him down the stairs, stands Elias Vaughn, one of Adam's longtime family acquaintances, aka an elite alpha who looks like he has way too much money and way too much free time to ruin people's lives. And judging by the way he's smirking at me, I have a feeling I am his next target. I tilt my head. "You are?" Elias doesn't even look at me. He keeps his eyes on Adam. "So, you're really engaged to this one? What a surprise. I thought you had higher standards." Adam's expression remains unreadable, but I sense something sharp beneath the surface. Meanwhile, I fake gasp dramatically. Oh my God! Was that an insult? How will I ever recover? I place a hand over my chest, shaking my head. Truly, Elias, your words wound me. Elias finally looks at me, clearly unimpressed. You certainly don't look like Adam's type. Oh? And what exactly is his type? I ask, crossing my arms. Elias steps closer, eyeing me up and down. Sophisticated. Well-mannered. Bred for high society. I laugh. Oh, babe, you're in for a disappointment then. Adam sighs. Elias, I don't remember inviting you. You didn't, Elias replies smoothly. But I had to see this disaster for myself. He gestures toward me. This, Omega? Really? Is this some sort of joke? And that is when I realize something. Elias isn't just curious about my presence. He's actively trying to make Adam uncomfortable. Which means, oh, this is an opportunity. I grin, stepping closer to Adam. Without giving him time to react, I loop my arm through his and lean against him, all while making full eye contact with Elias. Oh, sweetheart, I coo, turning my head to look up at Adam. Your friends are so rude. How do you put up with them? Adam stiffens for just a second, so fast that no one else notices, but I feel it. Then, to my absolute delight, he plays along. His arm relaxes slightly in mine, and he turns to me with an expression so effortlessly affectionate that I almost forget that this is fake. You get used to it, he says smoothly. Unfortunately, Elias has always been a little too opinionated for his own good. Elias narrows his eyes at Adam, then at me. You're actually defending him? Adam tilts his head slightly, his thumb brushing against the back of my hand as if this is all completely natural. Why wouldn't I? Oh, he's good. Elias's expression tightens just the slightest bit, but he quickly covers it up with a forced smile. Well, if you're happy, Adam, I suppose that's all that matters. Adam doesn't reply. He just gives me a pointed glance, a silent cue to end this conversation. Being the chaos gremlin that I am, I decide to do the exact opposite. I smile sweetly. Oh, you don't have to pretend to be happy for us, Elias. I know it must be so hard to see Adam with someone else. I imagine you must have been harboring feelings for him for years. It must be so painful to watch. Elias chokes on air. Adam tenses beside me. The room goes silent. Then, Elias laughs, cold and sharp. You're insufferable. I beam. I know. He glares at me before turning on his heel. Well, Adam, if this is what you've chosen, I'll look forward to watching this disaster unfold. And with that, he leaves. The moment he's gone, I pull away from Adam, shaking off the performance. Ugh, what a prick. Adam watches me for a long moment before speaking. You enjoyed that way too much. I shrug. I enjoy any opportunity to make rich, pretentious alphas uncomfortable. He hums thoughtfully, like he's re-evaluating his entire opinion of me. Then, he smirks. You're playing your role well. I blink. My role? As my fiancé, he says smoothly. Convincing performance? I roll my eyes. I was just messing with Elias. Adam steps closer, looking at me with that calculating gaze of his. Perhaps. But for a moment, even I almost believed you. Something in his voice sends a strange shiver down my spine. I force a casual laugh. Well, don't. This is all pretend, remember? Adam tilts his head, studying me. Then, to my absolute horror, he leans in slightly, just enough that I catch a hint of his cologne. Of course, he murmurs, his voice low and amused. Just pretend. And then he walks away, leaving me standing there, feeling like I might have just played myself. Attending a high society gala while pretending to be madly in love with Adam should be easy. It's just acting, just a performance. And yet, as I step into the grand ballroom, Adam's hand resting lightly on my lower back, his touch warm and grounding, I feel something I really shouldn't. Nervousness. Which is ridiculous, because I'm not actually his fiancée. This is all fake. And yet, with the way people turn to look at us, their eyes filled with curiosity, admiration, and a little jealousy, it's hard to ignore how convincing we must look together. Adam, of course, looks perfectly composed. He never cracks, never looks uncomfortable, never falters. Meanwhile, I am mentally spiraling. Relax, Adam murmurs in my ear, his breath warm against my skin. You look like you're about to jump out of a window. I stiffen. That's a valid emergency exit strategy. Adam chuckles softly, guiding me further into the ballroom. Immediately, people start swarming us. Oh, Adam, darling. You simply must introduce us to your fiancé. Such a charming couple. How did you two meet? Noah, what's it like being engaged to the most eligible alpha in the city? I freeze, my brain short-circuiting. Crap. I should have prepared answers for this. Before I can panic, Adam effortlessly takes control. It was fate, he says smoothly, looking at me like I hung the damn moon. The moment I met Noah, I knew. He's so good at lying that even I almost believe him. The women in front of us swoon. Someone dabs at their eyes, whispering, "So romantic." I barely resist the urge to snort out loud. Instead, I lean into Adam's side, resting my head against his shoulder, and sigh dreamily. I never expected to fall in love so fast, I say, my voice dripping with dramatic sentiment. But Adam, well, he made it impossible not to. The crowd eats it up. Cameras flash. People whisper excitedly. I feel Adam tense for just a fraction of a second, but he doesn't break character. "Excuse us," he says smoothly, leading me away from the nosy aristocrats. The moment we're out of earshot, I look up at him with a shit-eating grin. "Fate, huh?" I tease. Adam raises an eyebrow. "You're one to talk. I never expected to fall in love so fast." I shrug innocently. "I was just following your lead." His eyes flicker with something undeniably amused. "You're enjoying this too much." "I live for drama." Adam huffs out a laugh, shaking his head. Before I can gloat about successfully making the elite socialites believe our fake engagement, I feel something cold brush against my skin. I turn my head, only to come face to face with Elias Vaughn, looking particularly smug tonight. "Oh, how delightful," Elias drawls, holding a champagne glass in one hand while openly scrutinizing me. "You're still here. I was half expecting Adam to have replaced you already." I smile sweetly. "Oh, Elias, you simply must stop fantasizing about my downfall. It's embarrassing for you." He chuckles, but there's something sharper in his gaze tonight. "I have to admit," Elias continues, sipping his champagne, "I find it fascinating how convincing you two are. I mean, an omega like you, engaged to an alpha like Adam? Seems almost too good to be true." Something in his tone sets me on edge. Adam, as always, remains calm and unreadable. "Are you suggesting something, Elias?" Elias smiles. "Oh, nothing at all. Liar." I narrow my eyes, suddenly feeling the weight of too many eyes on us. People are watching, listening, waiting for cracks in our performance. If Elias is digging, then it means one thing. Someone is suspicious. Adam must sense it too, because he suddenly turns to me, his expression shifting into something softer, something that looks real. Without warning, his hand cups my cheek, his thumb brushing gently against my skin. I barely process what's happening before he leans in and kisses me. My brain implodes. The room blurs out of existence. The only thing I am aware of is Adam, his warmth, his scent, the way his hand presses lightly against the small of my back, pulling me just close enough to make this look dangerously convincing. I don't even think. I just respond. My hand grips his lapel, my body leaning into him instinctively. It should feel forced, but it doesn't. It feels real. By the time he pulls away, my heart is pounding in my chest. The crowd erupts into delighted gasps. Some people applaud. Elias, meanwhile, looks murderous. Adam tilts his head slightly, watching me carefully. "Satisfied?" he murmurs, so quietly that only I can hear. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. So instead, I do what I do best. I smirk. "I don't know," I whisper back. "You might have to try again. Just to be sure." Adam laughs softly, shaking his head. But there's something new in his eyes now, something I can't quite place. Something dangerous. For the rest of the night, I can still feel the ghost of his lips against mine. And for the first time since this whole mess started, I start to wonder, what happens when this fake relationship stops feeling fake?